Hey everyone, this is Sean Yurtkuran. You've heard me on WYAB on the radio, and you can also catch me on the new Hulu series Death in the Dorm Season 2. I just wanted to introduce you all to my law firm, the Yurtkuran Law Firm. I'm located over in Fondren on Mill Street in Jackson, Mississippi. I've got over 18 years of law practice under my belt, including a decade as a felony prosecutor in Hinds County and at the Mississippi Attorney General's office. I spent all those years putting bad guys away. Now let me help keep you out. You can call me anytime at 601-906-9094 for a consultation, or just if you want to talk about something about your case. I'm committed to helping you navigate the complexities of the legal system, which I know can be difficult and confusing and downright scary at times. Let me help you use my experience to explain the system to you and how it works and how I can best help you. You can call me again at 601-906-9094 to discuss any of this and any of your worries. Trust me to handle your defense, where it is going to be my priority and your future will be my focus.
Boom goes the dynamite. You've tuned in to the Free Range Human Show Choice, your daily dose of reality radio. It starts now. This is the Clay Edwards Show. I am, of course, Clay Edwards. I'm live. Solo this morning. You got 2 hours of me ranting and raving, full of pee and vinegar on a Thursday morning here in central Mississippi. I'm live in the FAFO.com studios. Y'all know it. I've been slinging these shirts, hats, stickers, flags, and more with my FAFO logo. Y'all know what it means. If you're in church, it's fool around and find out. If you're in the streets, you know what it is. I can't say that on the radio. Let folks know it's the Mississippi MAGA shirt. Half of them going to love it, half of them going to hate it. You got what it takes to wear them? A lot of females do. Sold to a lot of girls. Guys, don't be screwed. Let them know. Fool around, find out. You can buy yours at buyfafo.com. I wore mine yesterday. We got those Kelly Green ones. St. Patty's Day parade is next weekend. Represent. Sold over 100 of them already. Represent out there. We'll be at, I hear it's going to be a big old after party at Martin's. Got the Mustache Band playing. Told there's going to be a lot of these shirts up there. A lot of the people I sold them to said they were going to the Martin's after party. Y'all go rep. Holler at me. We can arrange local pickup, or I can ship it to you, but we need to get it taken care of quick. Buyfafo.com. Let me plug my password in here to my show notes. We will get this party started. Of course. You know, I was riding in this morning and I was listening to the radio, a little talk radio, a little podcasting, and reminded me, I've gotten several complaints over the last couple of days, people saying that they can't hear, the Apple podcast is not updating on the show. I don't know what's going on. It's an Apple issue, not a Clay Edwards issue. It works fine on mine, but what people are seeing that works, a couple things too. The app does not just automatically update when you close it and reopen it. You got to pull down, like pull the screen down and reload it. Some people have had to unsubscribe and resubscribe, and boom, there's the updates. So if you've been listening on Apple Podcasts, which it is our largest provider, or iTunes or app podcast app. So that should fix any issues you may or may not be having with the app there. Man, this pollen, it's getting to me a little bit. Throat's been swollen. Eyes are heavy. Maybe I should just get some sleep. Anyway, I was coming in this morning and I was just thinking about this TikTok thing, and I'm not going to beat y'all up about it much today. We'll reevaluate it when it gets back to the Senate, but I do have a couple thoughts on it. I got a couple thoughts on bipartisanship. And I've got a new name for Michael Guest, Meta Mike. Meta Mike, and Our other 3 congressmen here in Mississippi all voted unanimously to destroy American content creators and businesses' incomes and businesses yesterday, to protect Facebook, YouTube, and more. Instagram, Meta, all of that. And there's bipartisan, Clay. Everybody agrees this is good for America to ban TikTok or to force them to divest and sell to another one of these big companies like, I don't know, who would have enough money? TikTok's worth about 260, 70 billion. Who would have enough money to buy TikTok? Clay, it's going to be good for us. Jeff Bezos, Amazon. Does Amazon buy it? They don't own a social media company. Yeah, Amazon's never proven that they can do things right. Oh, what about Mark Zuckerberg and Facebook and Meta? Just go ahead and give them the whole damn monopoly. Remember when they broke up the Bells back in the day? I mean, we've broken up companies for this. There's companies that we do not allow to merge because they'll create monopolies. But for some reason, it's okay in big tech and social media. I mean, Google and YouTube should not be allowed to exist. Anyway, back to this bipartisan thing. Used to, when you saw bipartisan, you're like, man, this must be really good for America. When they can get along and we can all agree that something is either good or bad for us, we've got great leadership. Man, they're really making the tough decision. One side had to fold because they know it's what's for the best. Actually, you didn't even look at it like that back then. You looked at it, this is an issue. This is something so good that we got to do it. It almost reminds me of the Patriot Act. Now when I see bipartisan, I'm like, we are all screwed. When these clowns on both sides come together and agree on something, there's only one loser. It's us. Because they all won and we lost. So, excuse me if I'm not as excited or I'm not biting down on the, oh yeah, man, we got to keep China from getting our data. What do you think China wants with your data? I'm just real question here. I fear the California communists who've proven to me what they do to us during COVID. They had no problem cranking up the tyranny. I have no problem with comparing them to Chinese communists. What the hell? I mean, just sometimes it's too stupid to be stupid, as I like to say. And now look, all of y'all that are like, Clay, China's our greatest enemy. Joe Biden's already in China's back pocket. But here's my thing. If you're worried about China having your data, you're going to have to start cutting some things out of your life. You know, there's an American company that gave China all your data that a lot of y'all like to use. They wanted in the Chinese market so bad that they had to agree to give China access to all their data. So if you're out here and you're getting ready to go out of town this weekend and you book an Airbnb, just know they gave China your data. Now, are we forcing Airbnb to sell? There's a lot of hypocrisy going on here. We're fighting out there authoritarianism with authoritarianism. And I think that we're going to look back and we're going to compare this to the Patriot Act. I mean, take Take the fact that I'm going to lose a big chunk of my income if they don't figure out a way to divest and not screw up the payouts. Take that out of it. What's next? To me, it's clear. You protect Meta and Facebook by forcing the sale or banishment of TikTok. They've both been trying to figure out how YouTube has gotten into the shorts business. Instagram and Facebook have gotten into the Reels business. This is all for you out there that don't keep up with social media. This is all the little short form, narrow videos, minute and a half long. Ever since TikTok blew up and became the number one social media platform in the world, everybody else has been playing catch up. So you help the California communists by allowing them to buy it, one of them, or you neuter TikTok, one or the other. And lost my train of thought. I've been so fired up about this for the last 2 or 3 days, and I've talked myself into circles about it so many times that I about lost my train of thought on it. So I'll come back to that. Let's go back to the bipartisan thing and kind of where I was going and met a mic. Hey, it happens to the best of us. Or worst of us, depending upon your perspective. Michael Guest had no problem getting Santos kicked out of Congress. Do y'all realize that now, with that guy that's retiring, that's decided not to finish his term in Colorado, is it Ken Buck? With him deciding not to finish his term, we're now 2 people away from Hakeem Jeffries being the Speaker of the House. If something weird was to happen, you could end up with Hakeem Jeffries as the Speaker of the House. They already have the Democrats already have the Senate. You have a lame duck president. You have basically a lame duck Senate and House. You could anyway, after November. The terrible stuff they could push through there could just be could be generationally crippling for this country. But man, it's like we had to make sure Santos got out of there. A yet to be proven guilty individual was found guilty in the court of Michael Guest Ethics Committee without being found guilty of a crime yet. Make it make sense. Who's the guy? Y'all can help me on the Guns and Gear text line, 769-241-1944. The Democrat that had all the gold lined in his jackets and clothes. No talk of him resigning. No talk of him being fired from Congress. The Senate, whichever side. But our Mississippi values guy, Meta Mike, had to make sure that we got down one more guy, one more vote. We're 2 away from the Democrats having full control of this country. They're trying their best to get I think I called him Adam Gates the other day. They're trying their best to get rid of Matt Gaetz. all as a revenge plot for unseating Kevin, what's his name, as lead Speaker of the House. These people do not give a damn about America. They do not give a damn about you. They damn sure don't care about me. People, you got to wake up. I walked in there to vote the other day. Voted for Trump. Voted for Gannon. Burton. And I got down there on the bottom. Frankly, I'd forgotten the guest was even on the ballot this time around. Nobody primaried him. I wrote my name in. I was like, no, I ain't co-signing on this again. Yeah, I'm not going to co-sign on it in November. I heard Kim Wade talking about it yesterday. The Democrats normally will just run a warm body to have on the ballot just in case the candidate dies or something. They may get lucky. Man, apathy is set in here. Let's take a break. This is the Clay Edwards Show. Guns and Gear text line, 769-241-1944. The phone line this morning, if you want to call in, 601-879-0002. Welcome back into the Clay Edwards Show. Hey, guys, this segment brought to you by our friends over at iGear Optical in Pearl, Mississippi. Yeah, my girlfriend, I had to call him yesterday. She got an eye appointment. She's going to get over there and get her a pair of glasses here soon. Said she talked to Bruce. Said, very, very nice fella. Hey, look, iGear Optical will never hand out glasses like it's a box of shoes. Bruce is going to adjust your frames before taking measurements and then a second time after the lenses have been installed when you pick them up, just to get it fine-tuned and personalize it for you a little bit. Bruce is going to ask you a lot of questions. Going to figure out the best lens for you, just the right amount of technology to take care of all your wants and needs. Bruce will also help you select the right frames for maximum comfort, durability, and style that fits your needs. Hey, I said this the other day when I was talking about them. You just go buy a pair of sunglasses, and man, they don't have to feel like they're tight or wrong on your nose. You could think, oh yeah, this fits nice and snug, and next thing you know, you got a migraine. Well, you can just take a pair of sunglasses off, but if you actually need a pair of optical lenses, that's a bad situation to be in. Your reading glasses or your your optical glasses causing you to have headaches. You're going to avoid that with iGear Optical. iGear Optical is not an insurance because they want to help you deal with. They want to help to deal with you instead of having an insurance company telling them how to take care of you. You got any questions, reach out to them. I say, iGear Optical, we fit glasses for you, for your lifestyle and your budget. Get your vision in high gear today. Open Monday through Friday, 10 to 6, Saturdays 10 to 2, located at 2630 Highway 80 East in Pearl, Mississippi. Check them out online. It's always the easiest way to get started nowadays. iGearOptical.com. iGearOptical.com. And as I like to always mention here, locally owned, locally operated. Go in there and speak to the boss man yourself, or himself, should I say. Bruce, right there at iGear Optical in Pearl. Good folks, man. We appreciate having Bruce and the team on board here. All right. We've been talking about this bipartisan nonsense and this old Twitter thing. I want to paint a picture for y'all. Jameson and Kim have been on this Mike Guest thing for a while here. And I live out there. I'm in his district. I don't live 3 minutes from Mike. Cross paths a lot of mutual acquaintances, friends, all that stuff. I'm like, I try to compartmentalize the person from the congressman because he's always respectful to me. But I find all this wildly disrespectful. And kind of tired of playing nice neighbor. I mean, we didn't send you to Washington, D.C. to ever agree with Nancy Pelosi. Ever. There's not a single thing that you should be on the same side as Nancy Pelosi. I'm going to play a little Nancy Pelosi video right now just to reaffirm that. This is from yesterday. Well, bear with me. Hold on. Here. You would think 3 years into this, I'd figure out the right button to hit.
Gentlewoman is recognized.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I thank the gentleman for yielding and for his leadership on this very important issue, and I thank the distinguished chairwoman of the Energy and Commerce Committee and associate myself with her remarks, as well as with Mr. Pallone's. I thank Mr. Christian Morphy and Mr. Gallagher, Chairman Gallagher of the Select Committee on China, for their great leadership, bringing this legislation forward to the Committee of Jurisdiction, legislative jurisdiction. Mr. Chair, I have a few points to make, and it's interesting to...
What in the hell has she just said? Has she said a single word yet or finished a complete sentence or train of thought?
...to hear this respectful debate. First of all, this is not a ban on TikTok. I'm a grandmother of teenagers. I understand the entertainment value, the educational value, the communication value, the business value for some business on this. This is not an attempt to ban TikTok. It's an attempt to make TikTok better. Tic-tac-toe, a winner.
Tic-tac-toe.
And here's what I have to say. The people of China have come forth. The Tibetans have come forth and said on TikTok in China they are suppressed. They cannot put their message out. Not only that, the Chinese government misrepresents the situation in Tibet. In Hong Kong, well, let me just tell you about Hong Kong. During the Taiwan election, TikTok into Taiwan that the Uyghurs, on whom there is a genocide exercised by the Chinese government, they have told the people in Taiwan that the Uyghurs like that genocide. And they told them that the people of Hong Kong like the destruction of their democracy. They don't frame it that way, but that's their message. And again, suppressing the communication from Tibet. And then just people, yesterday on the steps, we heard from the Taiwan people, we heard from the Tibetans, we heard from the Hong Kong, and we heard from a woman whose husband was arrested because of his communication with somebody with a shared view. So this is controlled by the Chinese Communist government. But forgetting that, if you can, I can't, think of this.
Lady's time has expired.
The Chinese government will control the algorithm. They can change it any time coming into the United States.
They hadn't had a problem with the Chinese controlling the algorithm till now. I think TikTok is a vile thing, but I feel just as equal about Instagram, Facebook, the old Twitter. How about just not allowing any of these Chinese companies into America? Like our companies are not allowed over there. Like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. I got to quit doing that. It's called X. If y'all don't know by now that Twitter changed its name to X, shame on you. X. They're not allowed to operate in China. But Chinese companies are allowed to operate in America. But we're only going to sit here and single out TikTok. Is Temu not obligated to potentially share their data as well? I mean, they're coming over here just inching closer and closer and closer, and taking bigger bites out of Amazon's pie. They're a Chinese company. Are they? Again, I'm going to ask the question again. Is Temu not allowed to potentially share our data? Or what about the American companies that whore themselves out to China and share our data with them like Airbnb? That's okay. Facebook has some of the largest lobbying firms, Meta Mike, guest, good buddy Mark Zuckerberg, has some of the largest lobbying firms in Washington. And I don't mean like a firm in Washington. I mean in the Capitol. Some of the largest amount of lobbyists representing them. This is overwhelmingly something that was pushed by those lobbyists to create unfair competition, or an unfair advantage, should I say, eliminate competition for Facebook and Instagram. But Temu's good. That's just the first thing that comes to mind. How about all these Chinese-made products we have here? This is just so hypocritical. I'm sorry. If I deleted my TikTok today and said, screw it, I would feel the same way tomorrow that I feel today. You got Mike Guest and all these other Mississippi Congress people, the other three. Of course, Benny, I knew Benny Boom Boom Thompson was going to vote this way. Then you got the other two from North Mississippi and South Mississippi. Ezel and the other guy. All voting for this. They voting with Nancy Pee Pants Pelosi. Let's take a break. This is the Clay Edwards Show. We'll be right back. I am nowhere near through ranting about this. We're going to talk about our Mississippi legislators when I come back. And this time it doesn't involve anything to do with body shots and waitresses. Breaking rules when necessary. Welcome back in to the Clay Edwards Show. Being a bit dramatic this morning. Oh, man. Hey, guys, this segment brought to you by my friends at Stonington Farm Beef. I opened up my refrigerator last night. If you are on my personal Facebook page, you saw my picture. I opened it up, snapped a picture. I was like, dang, it's nothing in there. Big jar, the biggest jar of jalapenos I could possibly find. I eat way too many jalapenos. A couple things of carb balance tortilla shells. There's no beer. I was like, when I was in college, well, I didn't really go to college. Went to Hines. My first apartment out on my own. Let's say that. I think my refrigerator had more stuff in it because my mom would still help me out. My parents would help me out. I opened this thing up and like I couldn't make anything except a drink maybe. I think I had a couple odd end things in there. Out of what was in that fridge, like no meal could be concocted out of it. And I just thought it was funny. And I posted a picture, and people were like, well, get ready to get a second mortgage on the house when you go to the grocery store. But what I didn't show y'all was the freezer. The freezer is pretty well stocked with meat. And my biggest problem is I tend to forget to take meat out in the mornings and let it defrost. And then by 7, 8 o'clock, I done got hungry. I'm like, dang it, there's nothing to eat. There's plenty to eat. I just didn't prepare to cook. And what I'll tell y'all all that to tell you this when I mentioned Stonington Farms is I have a lot of Stonington Farm beef, as should you. 100% grass-fed, 100% grass-finished, Mississippi-raised, mRNA-free, antibiotic-free, and steroid-free Mississippi-raised red meat right down there in Perkinston, Mississippi. Hey, look, they'll be back up here in a couple weeks delivering orders, or you can always get it shipped. Go to StoningtonFarm.com. That's Stonington with 2 N's. Farm.com. You got to view our cuts. You check out all the options, everything from an individual pound of ground beef or a single ribeye, all the way up to their mini and whole cow packages. Everything's available. You're going to call Miss Katie Stonington. The phone number's there on the website. She's going to talk you through the whole thing, answer any questions you may have, and boom. In short order, you'll be enjoying the difference in grass-fed versus grain-fed beef. And if you've never had grass-fed, it is an eye-opening experience. Eye-opening. And you just know you're supporting a Mississippi farmer. I love it. It's just something. It almost feels like I'm doing a duty when I eat Mississippi-raised products, Mississippi-made products. That's one of the reasons I like Andy Gipson so much. I mean, that guy is tried and true Mississippi. And he's got his whole Made in Mississippi campaign. And I think one day, and it may be 4 years, it may be 8, I think Andy Gipson's going to be the governor of the state if he chooses to. I would love for him to stay AG Commissioner. I would. But if he chooses to be governor, I think he'll get it. I was speaking to a statewide politician last night a little bit via text message. And he said this before I did. And I've been thinking, I had typed out a tweet yesterday, or an X. I hate that. Tweet, X, gosh dang it. A post on X. And I didn't hit send because I just couldn't articulate what I was trying to say. But I have not seen a single piece of legislation that's come out in the public realm, come out of the Capitol, that I didn't think was trash this year. I am completely 100% disenchanted with what's going on down there at the Capitol. They're trying to screw with Andy's budget. I mean, you got something that's working. Let it work. Don't break what ain't broken. That's a big problem with this legislators. It's not a word I'm good with. Meeting every year is they feel obligated to do stuff. And more times than not, it does not benefit us in any way, form, or fashion. Anyway, it's just trash. I mean, why mess with Andy's budget? Why mess with Andy's sponsorship? I think he's done enough that when that dude walks in there and says, I need ... you give him ... Let him keep doing his dope boy magic down there at the fairgrounds and with agriculture and at the Ag Museum, and leave what's not broken alone. I don't care what personal beefs they have with him in the Senate, because that's clearly what this is. It's some personal beef with Andy in the Senate. They just want to keep messing with him. Let it go. Let it go. And behave when you're in the back room of legendary restaurants. Allegedly. Let's read some of your texts on the Guns and Gear text line. You guys are lighting it up this morning. 769-241-1944. Joe says, Americans have the control to make a difference. It's our responsibility, because unfortunately you can't depend on our politicians to control the imported items or services. Take the time to read the labels on everything you purchase, food, etc. You can't totally avoid imported goods, but at least try to keep NATO. Oh, yeah. And we got a China problem. We 100% have a China problem. And I try not to buy that China crap. And I know that I sound like I'm talking out both sides of my mouth when I talk about this TikTok and China and some of these things I talk about here. Both things can be right at the same time. We can need TikTok to divorce themselves from China. That can be true. But we can also say it's hypocritical to make them do it because you're not making these other companies do it. And you allow the California communists to control all of big tech. And they control with a much stronger iron fist than I believe China does. Both things can be right. And I can call you hypocrites for only addressing half the problem. Let's see here. A lot of texts come in this morning. Thank you guys so much for listening this morning. We're going to call this unknown texter because it's showing up as their business name, and I don't want to read people's business names on the air when they're attached to political opinions. My Google Drive, not Google Drive, my Google Voice number works like that. It's like it connects to your Google. No, like if you have your work number, if you use a cell phone as your work, and you have that attached to your Google account, that's how it shows up since it's a friggin' Google. Anyway, this person says, when Michael Guest was DA, he started a business to loan money to the people that he had prosecuted so they could pay off their court fees and fines. That stinks to the high heavens. Yeah, I knew he had some kind of business out there. I was thinking it was like the ankle monitors or something like that. Or maybe it's multiple things. Yeah, my personal opinion is that the prosecutor shouldn't be involved in profiting in any form or fashion off the people he just prosecuted. What? That's even legal? That sounds like something Chinese communists would do. Unknown texter on the Guns and Gear text line. Mississippi state legislators doing body shots and giving voters a pan of empty biscuits. Ding, ding, ding. Hey, I'm going to tell you what. I've had people come out and call me and Sean liars on that body shot story. I don't know why that's remotely hard to believe. And then you just throw in the mix that the way they reacted when it came out, when we never mentioned who, what, when, or where. And they all narrowed it down immediately to a specific night they were all at this alleged place. A specific waitress that it didn't happen with. And a couple different versions of the denial. Half of them outright denied it. The other half said told a different version of the story. Again, for an event that we never said who, what, when, or where. These are the people, this is what they think of us. They think we're stupid. Some of them are starting to get called out. Some people are starting to figure out who some of these guys are because this story's gone statewide. And some content creators that follow politics are starting to publicly call these guys out. They're like, oh, that sounds just like something my representative would do. And just so happens that is the area that I heard some of these guys were from. Checks out. Not ready to confirm yet, though. Unknown texture. Andy is in the green with his funds, and they want his money. Agreed. Let's take a break. This is the Clay Edwards Show. We'll be right back. Welcome back into the Clay Edwards Show. We got about a minute before the top of the hour break. What I suck at on this show is taking my 4 segments and dividing them up equally. Those first 3, it's all gas, no brakes, and I eventually have to make it up somewhere. And it's always the last segment of the hour. It makes for y'all having to listen to a lot of commercials in a condensed time. I do apologize. But once this mouth gets to running, it's hard to stop sometimes. So I do appreciate y'all bearing with us and supporting these great sponsors Really, really, really appreciate it, man. Be sure to get out and support our lunch sponsors today. Or heck, get out and eat breakfast this morning. Burgers, Blues, Barbecue. Try their Madison or Flowood locations for breakfast. They're open now. Chicken and waffles. Fresh made pan of biscuits. Andy Gipson would be proud of that pan of biscuits they got over at Burgers and Blues. It ain't empty at Burgers and Blues. State legislators ain't messed with it yet. Get over there, try one of their chicken biscuits, the chicken and waffles, and their great pancakes. BurgersBlues.com. Strap in, not on, turn up the volume, boom shakalaka boom. It's hour 2 of the Clay Edwards Show here live on 103.9 FM WYAB. Hope everybody's enjoying their spring break. If you're doing a little ATV riding, a little off-road this year, this spring break, spending some time with the kids, and you have torn something up, you're like, oh, crap. How am I going to get this fixed? Who knows? Can I borrow one of Kim Wade's lines? Who knows a man? Clay Edwards knows a man. Joe McNamee and his team right over there at Southeastern Power Sports in Madison, Mississippi can handle all of your ATV and side-by-side repairs, upgrades, parts, accessories, tune-ups. They got it all, can do it all right there on Highway 51 North in Madison. Hey, they also sell pre-owned. You want to enjoy the spring break. You don't have a side-by-side or ATV. They may have one for you. Check them out today. Give them a call, 601-707-7837. They got you faded on pre-owned sales, repairs, tune-ups, oil changes, programmers, wheels and tires, winches and bumpers, windshields, lift kits, and they got the stereo systems for them as well. Saw them when I was in there the other day. Check them out. You can search them on Facebook, too, if you don't feel like remembering a phone number. Just remember Southeastern Power Sports. Southeastern Power Sports. Veteran-owned, retired police-owned. Checks off all the boxes for a guy that I want to do business with. That's Joe and his team out there at Southeastern Power Sports. Hey, real quick, speaking of Joe there, he's old South Jackson guy. He'll appreciate this. This ain't South Jackson related necessarily. It's Jackson. But saw the Hooters, the building formerly known as Hooters. There on 55 North was on fire this morning. Saw that about 5:30 when I woke up on X. So, of course, I stole a picture of that somebody had posted and made me a video with it. It is up on my TikTok and my Instagram, at SaveJXN. But I'll kind of give you all the gist of it. We're going to get back to the politics stuff. We're going to shift gears for a minute. We're going to talk about LOL Jackson. Remember when Hooters closed? They're like, Clay. I've been negative about Jackson for a while now. So I've been calling this nonsense out long before I started the Save Jackson stuff. I'm like, well, there goes another restaurant. People are like, no, Clay. There don't go another restaurant. They're just looking for a new location. They're going to build a new location in Jackson. They may move to Pearl. They may move to the reservoir, but what they really want to do is build a new location in Jackson. Now, what had happened was Twin Peaks whooped that butt. That's what had happened is Twin Peaks whooped that butt, and then also that intersection right there, that wrong side of the tracks, that east side of 55, ain't nobody going over there. It's just a bunch of thugs. So anyways, the Hooters closes. 10 years later, they've yet to find that new location. And apparently, Gen Z and millennials don't like boobies and chicken wings. I'm cut from a different cloth. I do still, in fact, like boobies and chicken wings. Just one person's boobies, though. But nonetheless, I'm still red-blooded, testosterone-filled Mississippi man. American. Parents, how did y'all raise your young men not to like boobies and chicken wings? How did we get to this point in America? Where did it go wrong? Where did it go wrong? Who can we blame that on? Yeah, I'm sorry. It was west side of 55. West side. So, thank you, Woodrow. I mean, how did we... It's the water, isn't it? It's turning frogs gay. Is it making our kids not like boobies? And chicken wings? My goodness. My goodness. Anyway, so remember Red Lobster closed? I really want to talk about this young men stuff now that I've done said it. I'm just curious, so we got a sponsor, Men's Health of Mississippi. They do testosterone replacement therapy, screening. If you text Clay, you get a screening free to their number there. I'll give it to you before the end of the show. Red Lobster closed last year. Same thing. All the Jackson apologists. Clay, it's not closed for good. They're just remodeling it. It's just a remodel. You're just negative. You just hate Jackson. You just like to see bad things that happen to Jackson. Red Lobster's just remodeling. It's been over a year. Ain't no remodel going on at the Red Lobster. As a matter of fact, everything on the other side every restaurant on the other side of the interstate is closed too. Cracker Barrel, Outback, Twin Peaks, no particular order. But just think about all the restaurants that used to run the 55 corridor that are no longer there. I mean, God bless what they've been able to do over there in the Char and Highland Village area and all that. Bravo. I mean, kudos to that management company that has been able to keep all that in check. But just think about everything that used to be along 55 there. And I mean, those are just a few of the places I can think of off the top of my head. Hooters, Twin Peaks, Outback, Cracker Barrel, Red Lobster. And I'm not even getting on the County Line roads yet. Oh, yeah, Waffle House. The Northside Drive Waffle House closed, too. When a Cracker Barrel and Waffle House closes, that's the equivalent of a Jasco gas station popping up. If you're still around, it's too late. You just abandon it, donate it to charity, something. What's that movie? Get Out. Tape the eyelids open and get out. Man, oh man. Yes, somebody Fuddruckers and all that closed down too. Now they traded one for the other here. Like the Loggers place closed, but I don't think that had anything to do with Jackson. I just think that had to do with, I'm going to guess, mismanagement. They tore it down. They put a Denny's there, so I'll give it a pass. My favorite place that used to be through there, and we're going to get back to politics here in the next segment. We got a lot to talk about today. My favorite place that's no longer there, and I almost want to ride down to Louisiana just to eat at one again to see if it still tastes as good as I think it did, is Copeland's. Man, Al Copeland's place. When Al Copeland, my memory serves me correct, founded Popeyes and all that. His, I loved, like when I first started eating pasta, kind of learning what kind of pasta I liked and all that. It was at Copeland's. So good. They're like a chicken Alfredo pasta. That's kind of my go-to, but I like it with a little Cajun Creole flair to it, a little heat. Speaking of that, shout out to the girlfriend this morning. She made some chicken spaghetti last night. She tweaked the recipe a little. She put some cream cheese in it too. I didn't need 2 full plates of chicken spaghetti, but I ate 2 full plates of chicken spaghetti, and I got some leftovers to eat today. I'm not sticking with this keto thing at all. You cannot put pasta in front of me and expect me not to eat it. Rick checks in on the Guns and Gear text line and says, you got to give credit to the Iron Horse and Martin's. How are they still open and have good food is mind-blowing. It says so much for the management of these places. It truly does. I mean, obviously I'm friends with the folks over at Martin's. I'm a regular there. Iron Horse I don't go to anymore, but I do like it. When I lived a block away from it for a while. I was there 4 days a week. So granted, it's come back through different life forms and different owners, but it's been back, a solid 10 years now at least. And been done very well. Kudos to them. Great management. Let's take a call. Hey, you're on there. Hello? Hello? Goodbye. It takes a lot of effort to call in and not say nothing. Hey, if you want to call in this morning, 601-879-0002. Don't forget, speaking of Martin's, get down to Martin's today. Try one of their great plate lunch specials. I think today is Thursday. I do believe it's smoked ribs. Let me double check. No, pot roast. I had pot roast the other night for dinner. Forget how much I like pot roast. Get down to Martin's today. The blue plate is pot roast. Of course, the entire menu is available. You can, in fact, try the country fried steak that I always talk about. That's at Martin's downtown. Of course, they got the best happy hour in town. Just ask Sean. You're likely to find him down there any Monday through Sunday, enjoying the happy hour specials himself. Located right there at State Street, South State Street, and Pearl Street. They're on Commerce. You know where Martin's is. I ain't got to tell you. If you're listening to this show, you know where Martin's is. Don't forget, they got a new location coming soon. For the first time ever, they're expanding outside of Jackson, heading to Gluckstadt. Well, that's what I call it anyway. Madison County. They're at the town of Livingston. They got the old Gathering restaurant getting it ready to open as a Martin's. So, man, if you live out that way, get excited. Martin's. You're going to have somewhere good to eat that's ran right. Not saying the other place wasn't, but Martin's is ran right. Shouldn't have to worry about it ever closing down. Let's take a call real quick. Hey, you're on there.
Yo.
Hey,
man. So I listen to you daily. I run Steve's Deli downtown and on South Congress,
Steve's
in the Secretary of State building.
Man, I forget about Steve's because unless you work downtown, it's kind of out of sight, out of mind. But Steve's is great.
Dude, so we took over at the end of last May, and I've recently started listening to your show in the morning while we do our little errands, picking up shit for the shop and whatnot. But, dude, you're awesome. I'm running to Sam's right now and just heard the number. I just wanted to give you a shout, man, and say, hey, come check us out. We'd love to have you in, man.
Hey, I will. I'll get down there one day this week. There's 2 days left. I'll get down there either today or tomorrow and try it.
Sounds great, man. Well, look, I took today off, but I'm still running errands for the shop. I won't be there today, so make it tomorrow, man.
Tomorrow works. Appreciate you, brother. What was your name?
Michael Longo.
Michael, nice to meet you, brother. Good luck with it.
You as well. Cheers.
Thanks. Shout out to Steve's Deli. They're listening to the show. Let's take a break real quick. We'll be right back. Welcome back into the Clay Edwards Show. Hey, guys. Lakeland Glass and Tint. We don't talk about them enough around here. Man, we appreciate them being on board. Day one. Lakeland Glass and Tint has seen the value in advertising to the most loyal listening audience, and I say the country. And I don't mean just the Clay Edwards show. I mean talking about WYAB. This thing is still, we're still building this thing, but they saw the value in getting in front of a bunch of great folks, all backgrounds, and advertising what they do. And that's window tint, windshields, paint protection film, and vehicle ceramic coating. They also, starting to get warm outside. It's gonna be summer before you know it. It's all right. I'm wearing shorts and a t-shirt this morning. I rode with my air conditioner on 60 all the way here. You're going to want some ceramic window tint on your home, business, or vehicle. And one call, that's all. 601-946-1000. Lakeland Glass and Tint is going to be who you need to call. They're going to come out to your home and business. You know, they can do all the flat glass, all that stuff. You take your car to them. Protect yourself. Protect the back of your legs while you're wearing shorts and sitting down on those leather seats. Get yourself some ceramic window tint. It'll also help bring your utilities bills down in the summer when you have it on your home or business. Gosh, man, you know, working at all those dealerships over the years, and I'm going to shift gears real quick. Working at those dealerships over the years, they're nothing but glass. And inevitably, during the summer, one side faces west as the sun eviscerates the side of the building. It's horrible. Heat, hot, can't see. Lakeland Glass and Tint can solve a lot of those ills by coming out and tinting that for you. Give them a shout today. They're the Expel Installer Dealer of the Year, 2 years in a row. I can't express how big of a deal that is for one of our own local companies right here in central Mississippi to do that not once but twice. Just like America. Back-to-back World War champs, they're back-to-back champs. LakelandGlassandTint.com for a quote today, or 601-946-1000, where quality matters. Guys, when news breaks, we break with it here on the Clay Edwards Show. Nobody rides harder for police than we do. And the longer we've done this, you know, we're going to be unbiased, which I never really advertised myself as unbiased. But we have to cover the bad stuff too. Not just the effed around and found out championships, not just the good guys win again, not just the hashtag jump out boys, not just criminals trying to run back to the safe haven of Jackson, Mississippi from Pearl. We got to discuss when Pearl cops do something bad every now and then. And look, I love these guys. And I was at the new chief, Nick McClendon, who I consider a friend. I was at his swearing in the other day as new chief, and it looks like he's inherited a problem over there, and it looks like they're taking care of it the best way that I expect him and Mayor Jake Wyndham to do. But we got an update here. It's pretty bad stuff. Thank you to their new information director over there, Ms. Therese Apel, for sending this over to me. Says city, Pearl police officer has been fired after bullying arrestee into licking his own urine. Weren't expecting to hear that this morning, were you? I had to read it 3 times to make sure I was reading it right. Here's the story. An officer with the city of Pearl has been fired. Oh, I'm reading WLBT, by the way. An officer for the city of Pearl has been fired after the video appears to show the officer bullying an arrestee into licking his own urine off the floor. According to a statement from Pearl spokesperson Therese Apel on Wednesday, shout out to our friend Therese, the United States Attorney General's office unsealed the criminal information against former patrolman Michael Christian Green. The incident is said to have happened on December 23rd, 2023. The FBI was given the video by the city of Pearl. So you can appreciate that. That's good leadership when you turn yourself in. When you report the problem, they don't have to come finding you for it. Anyway, quote, when the city discovered the disturbing incident over the Christmas weekend, it quickly opened up an internal investigation, Appel wrote. in the statement. By December 27, 2023, Officer Green was relieved of his duties. So, they got video. So within 4 days of this happening, they fired the cop. Self-governance. The city has since engaged attorney Candace Gregory, a former federal prosecutor and director of Mississippi's Public Integrity Division, to supplement the city's internal investigation. According to the statement, Gregory is in the process of reviewing the police department's policies and procedures and providing training assistance. Quote, to be clear, this incident is beyond deplorable to city officials. Michael Green does not represent the values and standards within the Pearl Police Department, the statement concluded. The charged actions have both been embarrassing and dishonored the faithful officers who serve and protect our city every day. Yeah, that's a terrible situation. They clearly have video. They took swift action to relieve Mr. Green. Is that his name again? Michael Green of his duties. And that's the kind of stuff the Goon Squad stuff, that's the kind of stuff that makes it so hard on good cops. When they're out there pulling people over, dealing with people. We talk a lot on this show about cops and dealing with PTSD and law enforcement and paramedics and stuff, and just the stuff they see on a daily basis. It's got to make social communication kind of difficult at times. And then you got guys that go out and do stuff like that. And I can sit here and make a bunch of smart comments and, and blame the bad guy and, do all that. We can make a funny out of this, but I don't think anything's funny about it. I wouldn't want to lick my or your or anyone else's urine up. I remember seeing a guy get beat up in South Jackson back in the day at the Apple Ridge parking lot. You're not going to hear this on any other radio station, by the way. There's probably a reason why. But I remember hearing or seeing a guy get beat up, and then I saw a guy urinate on him after he beat him up. And I just remember thinking to myself, that's too much. I don't want to ever be on either end of that. Either end of it. So there's a line in the sand, and you can't. That ain't where you cross it at. Or you've crossed it if you do that, should I say. So we'll see how all that comes out. I guess what we need to hope for, and this is unfortunate, but these are the times we live, because clearly there's video. What we need to hope for is that the suspect wasn't black. Because you know how this story ends if he is. So we shall wait and see. All right, we're going to chop that up into its own segment there. Let's take a break. When we come back, I haven't talked about trans kids in a while. We got a story about a trans kid whose death they attempted to blame on the Libs of TikTok page. Well, come to find out, sadly, it was a suicide, not a homicide. We got the details. This is the Clay Edwards Show. We'll be right back. Welcome back into the Clay Edwards Show, live on 103.9 FM, WYAB. If you're ever outside the listening area, take us with you on your phone at WYAB.com. We don't have an app per se, but your phone has a browser. Go to WYAB.com, click Listen Live, and what you can do once you're on that screen, it's going to start playing. It's going to be the live stream of the station. Save it to your home screen. If you're on Apple, you use Safari, but save to home screen. And boom, it's no different than having an app. It's just right there. WYAB, 24/7, 365, worldwide and live at your fingertips at WYAB.com. Real quick, guys, don't never forget Acme Pizza and Daiquiris, 4 p.m. to midnight, 7 days a week for all of your pizza, pasta, burgers, appetizers, and more. And every Friday night, they got live entertainment. And every Saturday, they have throwback DJ night from 9 p.m. on. There's no cover charge. Get out there, enjoy their homemade or freshly made in-store every day pizzas. Cooked to order. I was trying to say the crust is made. The dough is made daily there. The dynamite balls, I'm telling you, the appetizers, dynamite balls, you got to try them. No, there's pulled pork, freshly smoked there at Acme, not bought from Cisco or nothing like that. They roll it up around some cream cheese. They deep fry it. They pull it out. They drizzle it with some Sweet Baby Ray's barbecue sauce, and they got some kind of great dipping sauce. Maybe it's ranch. I don't remember. That goes with it. Thank me later. All right. Hey, don't forget they got 9 different frozen daiquiris on tap available for delivery and carry out. That's Acme Pizza and Daiquiris located at Fannin Mart on the Res, right there in front of the bowling alley on the Rankin County side. You can find them on Facebook at Acme, ACME, Pizza and Daiquiris. I can't spell daiquiris. You're going to have to figure that one out on your own. All right. Let's read a few of your texts real quick. Let's see here. Somebody actually, we're going to pass on some of the texts for now. Some of them are a little convoluted. I want to get to this other story here. This oh wait, real quick. Hey, we got to get our victories in when we can get them, right? Coach Hugh Freeze, I'm not an Ole Miss guy, but he used to have a say that said, "Win the day." Of course, he stole it from somebody, and other coaches have stole it from him. Football coaches love to say, "Win the day." Fitness coaches, personal trainers, just if you can win the day. It's true too, by the way. Like whether it's AA, NA, celebrate recovery, one day at a time. You got to win the day. You can just get through the day. We won one yesterday, guys. It's a little one. It's just a little small victory along the way. A little small victory. Let me give you a little red pill here. Y'all remember a couple years ago, Neil Young threw a big old hissy fit because Joe Rogan wouldn't take the vaccine. I mean, just a hissy fit that Joe had the audacity to question vaccine efficacy. Pulled all of his music off Spotify. I'll show y'all. Me and my crazy horse are getting on out of here. Back to Crazy Town. Well, the national media made a huge to-do about it. I mean, it's just like, look at Neil Young standing up to that anti-vax right-wing horse-paced taking bigot, Joe Rogan. He's pulling his music off Spotify. He quietly returned his old ass to Spotify yesterday. Maybe it was a couple days ago, in the last couple of days, without nearly the fanfare that he left it with. Joe Rogan's still there too, by the way. Joe Rogan just signed a new massive deal with Spotify. You want to know who's got the real power in that relationship? You want to know which one ain't the bottom B? It ain't Joe Rogan. He gets to put all his content back on YouTube, Apple, and everywhere else too. Wow. Getting paid, son, from Spotify. Hundreds of millions of dollars. Oh, Neil, but you can now listen to your Neil Young music while you're there, as you should be able to. Shouldn't when you take stands like that, you're not punishing who you think you are. You're punishing the audience there that enjoys listening to your content. Music, podcast, or whatever else. Removing Neil Young, removing his stuff from Spotify It doesn't matter to Spotify. The Neil Young audience ain't a big digital music consumer. The demographics just bear that out. It's just funny to me. So that's a victory for us. Old man took time from screaming at the clouds to load his music back up. So, kudos to Joe Rogan. You know, real quick, it's like me, on a much smaller scale, mind you. And I've gone through this. I've been on both sides of this, as a matter of fact. And I tell y'all every now and then, like when you do this 2 hours a day, 5 days a week, we're on our 4th year now. We're between year 3 and 4. You know, when we get through it, this will be our 4th year. You will talk yourself into hypocritical circles every now and then. It just happens. And your mind will change about stuff. And I used to be, early on in this, I was like, we're going to boycott Facebook. I'm not doing Facebook no more. They banned me for the last time. YouTube, they banned me for the last time. I'm not going to give YouTube my hard-earned, hard-fought content. That'll show them. Somewhere I learned, and our boss man here at the radio station actually went to a radio conference and came back, and we were having a conversation about, and he told me I was kind of ahead of the curve on something. He said, yeah. He said, you take your product to wherever the people are. You don't expect them to come to you. So I don't expect everybody to get up at 7 a.m. and listen to WYAB for 2 hours every morning. It's just not feasible. So that's why we put the content out everywhere. That's why it's podcasted. That's why it's, when we're allowed, it's on YouTube, Facebook. That's why I'd make TikTok videos and Instagram videos and all that. Unfortunately, I need them more than they need me. But I'm not going to punish the people who enjoy my content. Thank y'all, whoever y'all are. Thank y'all. I'm not going to punish them to make a point that I don't agree with Facebook or Meta or TikTok's politics. It's a huge platform that we're allowed to use for free at the end of the day. I mean, I guess our data is what they're mining, so nothing's free, right? So as much as I get up here and I throw a fit about all this stuff, I'm still going to put my stuff there as long as I'm allowed to, because I may have one listener every day there, or 2 or 3 or 10 or 50 or 5,000. Why would I punish them? So, anyway, take them small W's. They add up. When I was in the car business, may sell 20 cars a month, and may make a mini on 18 of them, where you only make $100. You may make a little bit of money on 2 of them. But then you get to that 20-car bonus. They all add up. More to my story. So, all right, real quick. I didn't plan on getting into that. There's a big story a couple weeks ago about a non-binary Oklahoma teen by the name of Nex, N-E-X, Benedict. She had started a fight in the bathroom with some people and had gotten beat up or something along those lines. And Taylor Lorenz at the Washington Post, she's a woke nutjob journalist, blamed her death on the social platform Libs of TikTok. Now, Libs of TikTok had never had anything to do with this girl, never shared any of her videos, never none of that. They just decided that it was Libs of TikTok's fault that this girl had been bullied and killed. And, of course, come to find out, that in fact is not what happened. Nex Benedict died of a drug overdose. Suicide. Now, was it intentional? Unintentional? You know, that's debatable. Let's see here. Yep, here we go. This is from, I'm just going to read this post on X from End Wokeness. It says, the media told us repeatedly that Nex was beaten to death by transphobes. They told us libs of TikTok was at fault. They told us that it could all be stopped if everyone just affirmed trans kids. Turns out, Nex Benedict actually died of an overdose, started the fight, and was fine immediately after the incident. We have video of her in the ER. She is perfectly 100% fine. Her death had zero to do with the fight that he, I don't even know what it's pretending to be, in the bathroom. What's killing these trans kids, I mean, and you know, what was it, 50% of trans kids end up committing suicide? Is that the number? What's killing these kids ain't people who don't affirm them. It's LGBTQ activists, rainbow supremacists, and mainstream media that continually tell them that anything other than loving affirmation, anything other than everyone saying trans rights are human rights. No, human rights are human rights. Anything other than love, Trump and hate, than all-age drag shows, anything other than front row at drag queen story time. What's killing these kids is telling them that if everybody ain't playing make-believe with you, that they hate you. That's what's killing these kids. That's what killed Nex Benedict. Are these activists and this media that are complicit in lying to these folks and pumping them up to the point that you're going to be trans and proud. Everybody's going to love you. And the people that disagree with you hate you and want you dead. That's what they tell them. So then they get into a real world scenario, not on TikTok, not on Instagram, not on the internet, not on Reddit forums. They get in a real world scenario at school where kids can be kids and kids can be mean. Or they get around some real adults like myself that don't give a damn, that ain't going to play make-believe with you. And they think that we hate them because we just tolerate them. It ain't hate. I just don't have to go along to get along. And a lot of these kids are on the spectrum. And they're killing themselves because in the real world, because the real world ain't the internet ain't the real world, because in the real world, everybody ain't playing make-believe with them like they do on the internet. Let's take a break, come back, land the plane for the day. Welcome back into the Clay Edwards Show, live here on 103.9 FM WYAB. We got about a minute to go here. And we were talking about mental illness in that last segment there. And unfortunately, the young trans teenager had a drug overdose due to a mental illness. The side effect of the mental illness was drug abuse. And I saw another story here during the break. I don't have it about 30 seconds left, but this is over at the Daily Mail. I just shared this on my Facebook page, and this is the nonsense I'm talking about. Here's the headline. Meet the woman who identifies as a dog. American social media star reveals she sleeps in a crate, is rewarded with dog treats, and has handlers who walk her. I'm speechless. We're so screwed. But hey, we have a front row seat to the end of the world. We will see y'all tomorrow. Peace out.